Welcome back to Axis Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Valvrave the Liberator, Episode 7. Now, if you remember from last episode, we find out Rokino is the new pilot of the Green Mecha, and she's being a bitch about it, but you know what? It's okay, because she's a great pilot. She may be a bitch about it, she may brag, but you know what? She can be a drama queen. She's a great pilot. That's the only thing that's good about that. But moving on past that, we do find out Rokino has the same powers as Haruto. She does the whole body transfer, she messes with him, that's great, but she's abusing her new powers. We still don't know if she can heal herself, if and when she gets hit, like a Haruto has been doing, but hopefully we will never have to find that out, because I think it's a waste of time if we did find that out, because then it would just prove that she's more of a bitch, and she's even more immortal than she thinks. But sorry, I digress. Moving on past that, toward the end of the episode, we find out Rokino and Haruto are now fighting the Dorsan army yet again, and the end result being Rokino is not that bad of a pilot. She defeats the Dorsan army with Haruto's help, and again the Dorsan army has been defeated yet again. And that's where the episode ends. And I'll have my final thought and rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right on in. So we open up this episode with the Student Council President, and guess what, fans? He wants the mechas that both Rokino and Haruto had found thanks to LF. Yeah, that's right. The Student Council President wants the mechas for the Student Council. I mean, it's for protection and it's for their newfound military that they're trying to build, I would assume. So it does make sense, but guess what? Haruto doesn't want them to have it, because he knows that if anyone pilots these mechas, they'll become monsters. They're not going to be human anymore. And the Student Council believes in what Haruto says, and they put it to a vote, and the Student Council President ends up losing, and Haruto ends up winning, and guess what? The Student Council President is a poor sport. He is pissed off, and he just runs away per se. And it's poor sportsmanship, man. You lost. Suck it up. Deal with it. Now, moving on past that, we are taken to a little cutscene with LF. This is probably my favorite scene throughout the episode. Now, we see LF, and he looks like he has this thick packet of paper on him. Apparently, he created the plans for the military development territorial expansion of the new JIOR. And I was like, what the hell, man? You're definitely on this shit. None of these other kids made these kind of plans. And this is LF. He makes these plans out of nowhere, and he hands them off to Shoko. I mean, you should have gone to the Student Council President. The Student Council President right now is very vulnerable, so he might have had more luck with the Student Council President, not so much as Shoko. Yes, we know Shoko is the President's daughter, presumably, but what authority does she really have? None. She has no real authority. But somehow, LF gives Shoko his plans that he created to her, and guess what? He wants the new JIOR to turn into an army state. That is definitely a bold move, and I love it. Again, LF, he wants the new JIOR to be an army state. Hey, it makes sense. You have the mecha, you have the power, you have the students behind you, I guess. But you know what, Shoko? She says no, she rejects the plans. I was like, what? What authority do you have to reject the plans? You're not on the Student Council, you're not a Student Council President, Vice President. What the hell? You skanky bitch. Sorry, I just had to say that about her, because she's my least favorite character right now. And then LF gets all serious, and apparently he booby-trapped the whole Module 77 with booby traps throughout the academy, the facility, and guess what? LF starts a coup. Yes, after LF, he hears what Shoko has to say, and Shoko says, no, these plans aren't going to happen. LF goes all rogue, and he starts a coup. I'm like, yes, that's what we wanted to see, specifically with LF. His character apparently is known for doing coups and fighting by himself. This definitely makes sense. A bold move in my opinion, and I love where it's going. However, moving on past that, we see Thunder, which is the bully within this anime series, and Rokino kind of pose a threat to LF, and they attack him, but they fail. LF defeats Thunder, he defeats Rokino, and it's amazing. I love where that went. So moving on past that, we are taken to another cutscene with LF, and apparently over the microphone, he orders Haruto to go to his mecha. And 15 minutes later, apparently LF is now at gunpoint with Haruto. Apparently it was a trap. Yeah, LF made a recording of himself telling Haruto to go to his mecha. And apparently, while the recording was going, 15 minutes later, we see Elef right in front of the mecha waiting for Haruto at gunpoint, and it's perfect. I love the plan. Apparently he just wanted to talk to Haruto alone, and that's, starting a coup is definitely a way to get someone's attention. Yeah, a man with a plan. It's dangerous. A man with a plan is a dangerous thing. But you know what? Out of nowhere, while we see Haruto and Elef talking, and Elef has a gun to Haruto, we see Adra. Adra appears, which, if you don't remember who Adra is, he's part of the Dorsan army, and he was the one that was shot by Elef, which technically was Haruto at the time in previous episodes. But sorry, I digress. Now Adra was on Module 77 to take pictures, kind of spy on the mechas and whatnot, and he starts to shoot Haruto out of nowhere. So we see Adra shoot Haruto, and Haruto is now dead. I was like, what? Really? I did not see this coming. Yes, I did. Everyone loves shooting Haruto, apparently. Now, moving on past that, we are thrown with a little bit of information, which I thought it's about freaking time. Now, apparently, Elef was supposed to be Adria's right-hand man. I was like, what? But instead, Elef decides Haruto will be his right-hand man. I'm like, what the hell? That just does not make any sense. Elef does not appear to be a guy that would take orders from someone. He's the one that makes the orders or does them on his own. But somehow, he was Adria's right-hand man, and he turns around and tells Adria, no, Haruto is my right-hand man, and it pisses Adria off so much. But at this point in time, Adria believes Haruto is dead because he shot him, so I definitely thought that was worth mentioning. But then out of nowhere, Quaver shows up. Yeah, Quaver, which is also part of the Dorsan army, backs up Adria and, shoots everywhere. And he calls Adria Prince. Like, what's the meaning of that? Why is Quaver calling Adria Prince? I have no idea, but there's so many questions there. But moving on past that, we do find out Quaver is shooting everywhere. He shoots the ship, he shoots everyone, and eventually he shoots Haruto a little more. And it looks like a metal beam lands right on top of Haruto, even though he's dead right now. So it's not looking good for Haruto, because we know he's going to come back to life, because that's part of his power. Now, moving on past that, we are taken to a little cutscene with the Dorsan army. Right now, the Dorsan army is outside Module 77, waiting for Quaver and Adria. Because remember, Quaver really had nothing to do with this mission, where Adria was there to spy on everyone. So they're waiting for Adria and Quaver right now. And again, the Dorsan army is right outside. They have a small little squadron. They're waiting, and it's Elef's move. That's right. It's now all in Elef's hands. Now, moving on past that, we are taken to a little cutscene with Rokino. Now, Rokino launches right away after everyone notices the Dorsan army's outside. Rokino snaps out of it, she jumps inside of her mecha, and she goes outside to deal with everything. And she has a new tactical maneuver she calls a new dance style or whatnot, but it doesn't do anything. The Dorsan army defeats Rokino right away. They pin her down so she can't use her powers, can't use her special maneuvers, so she's fucked. Because she's waiting on Haruto to back her up. I mean, at first you assume she's trying to take on the Dorsan army by herself, but she was just there as a decoy waiting for Haruto, more or less. It kind of makes sense. Now, back with Elef and Haruto. Right now, Haruto, he is dead, and there's a metal beam right on top of him, and he can't move. Now, this poses a big threat to Elef, because how is he supposed to work with his right-hand man if his right-hand man, known as Haruto, can't do anything? Now, this is definitely kind of funny, but this was kind of an emotional scene, because out of nowhere, we see Elef talking to Haruto and tells Haruto, bite me. There's no way you can pilot that mecha, known as Valvrave. I mean, we gotta chop your leg off. I'm like, wait a minute. So Elef was debating on whether or not to chop off Haruto's leg. He didn't know if it was gonna grow back or not. I thought it was kind of funny. But eventually Haruto comes to, Haruto is now awake, and Elef is telling Haruto, bite me. Take my body and pilot your mecha and, join your friend and defeat the Dorsan army. And we'll talk about everything later. Now, Elef does not know if his body can withstand the mecha or not. Is he going to die if he goes inside the mecha? He has no idea, but he's giving his body to Haruto, which is very meaningful, but there's got to be some catch. There's always got to be a catch. I mean, that easy, really? it can't be that easy. But you know what? Haruto, he puts everything aside, and guess what? He bites LF. He listens to LF and he bites him. Now Haruto is inside LF's body, and Haruto is now inside of his mecha, and he's joining, his partner Rokino. Definitely worth mentioning, but there's a big catch. Apparently, while LF was still in his own body, he wrote down all of these notes on a piece of paper and he put them inside Haruto's mecha. Apparently, they were plans on how to defeat the Dorson army. He did all of this before the battle even started. So right now, LF, you're my fucking hero. I don't know how you did this. Are you a mind reader? I don't know. Can you see the future? Because right now, every single thing that Haruto is reading inside of his mecha is predicting, predicting, or in theory, every single move that the Dorson army is about to make, Haruto now knows. So even though his partner Rokino is pinned down, she is pinned down, she can't use her power, apparently Haruto has the answers on how to free her, how to, beat the Dorson army. That's fucking amazing. He's doing this while in LF's body, while reading LF's notes, which LF left for him. It's like a cheat sheet, a fucking cheat sheet. I'm like, it doesn't get any easier than this. And eventually Rokino as well as Haruto, they defeat the Dorson army yet again. And no surprise there. Now while all this shit was going on, back in Module 77, we're introduced to a new character. Her name is Anya. We've seen her before. She kind of has a thing for Haruto, I guess. But in the process, she was killed. And she's not a pilot, so she cannot come back to life. Apparently Kuyame was looking for her. And among other things, of course, he was going to tell everyone that Haruto's body is here, he's okay, he'll be back in his body and whatnot. And he notices Anya is dead, and he goes ballistic, he loses it. I was like, oh shit, is he going to jump into a mecha and become the next pilot? Hey, we have no idea. All we know is Kuyama notices Anya dead, and he loses it. Now, moving past that, toward the end of the episode, we're taking to a little cutscene with Haruto, and apparently Haruto finds a picture on LF's body, and he starts to cry. This picture was of a little girl, and that's where the episode ends. As for final thoughts, well, first of all, this picture that Haruto found on LF's body of a little girl, is that LF's sister, girlfriend, family member? We really don't know. I can't wait to find out, though. And why was LF's body crying? Haruto wasn't crying. LF's body was reacting to the picture. Definitely can't wait to find out more what's behind that, of course. Moving on past that, what's up with Anya dying in front of Kuyame? What's going to happen with Kuyame? Is Kuyame going to become the next pilot of another mecha? And what about Shoko? Is she going to become the next pilot? And just putting that out there. And that ends it for my final thoughts. As per my rating, 4 out of 5. Are you serious? I love this episode. There was drama. Romance not so much. That was iffy. Was there fighting? Oh, fuck yes. New information? Yeah, it was there. I like that. Again, great episode. Final rating, 4 out of 5. And that is it for my walkthrough and review of Valvrave the Liberator, Episode 7. Definitely comment down below. Let me know. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Definitely subscribe. Check me out on Twitter and follow me if you like. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know what you think's going to happen in the next episode that's coming out. But again, guys, that ends it for now. And I got to hit the bricks and I got to go. And before I go, I got to say it, and I always say it. You can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.